Hello, welcome to the Lone Show. I'm your host, John Lone, and in this episode, I brought on regular Faiffy. And
Hey guys.
as for our guest, he is from New York. He is a singer-songwriter, and he plays the guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you JL.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
So, how's life?
Hey, life is great. I have to say, I'm just happy as a clam, as some people say. Thank you for asking, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. It's a pleasure to have a chance to talk about music and anything else you want to talk about. So, thank you again for having me.
Welcome. So, how did you get into music?
Great question. Actually, it was not something that was around me in terms of a profession. Nobody in my family, going back generations, could tell, was ever interested in the business of music in any shape or form. Just happened to be a lot of music around as I was growing up. Um, for any kind of occasion, and I just really reacted really passionately to songs at a really young age. And over time, just started exploring things, but I didn't start playing guitar until I was a teenager, around like 15, 16. And then after that, after high school, I made the big decision to explore this further. I went to the Conservatory of Music, around where I was then at the time in Geneva, Switzerland, and then I got into more aspects of things besides guitar playing. I got into singing, and I finally into writing because I always loved these great songs that I heard people play, and I thought, gee, that would be great to be able to write a couple of good ones. Learn how to do that.
Great. Very inspiring.
I
And
certainly, I think so, but for me, I don't know about anybody else.
So
okay.
anyways, now you don't have to say your exact age, but what decade are you in your age lifespan? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm in my how does it work? First decade is 1 to 10, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I'm one, two, three. I'm entering my fourth, I think, right? If my
40.
math,
So you're in almost 40 something.
right, right.
I'm in my 20s,
Yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic.
same with me.
early 20s.
So you're actually enjoying a world full of technology, sort of like had a moment in my youth where it wasn't as intense. But you know what I regret in many ways is not having like the selfies and the smartphones right there and then, as opposed to later on in my life, because there were some cool things I could have been, filming or recording right off the bat. Having a smartphone for music is just fantastic. What a great tool. But hey, that's life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you do in your free time?
Hey, that is a super nice question because who has any free time? No, I do manage to take a little break here and there, and my favorite occupation has absolutely nothing to do with music. It is crossword puzzles, but easy ones, right? I mean, it's got to be like I got to be able to finish them or have most of the definitions, because if it's too complicated, it's frustrating. And my second favorite is actually watching TV, and specifically um, murder mysteries. I'm a big fan. I'm on uh, BritBox and uh, Acorn, and I watch an enormous amount of British drama, as in murder mysteries. So and on Netflix as well. So that's it. And there's a little bit more music there than crossword puzzles. There's some really cool music in songs, and that's kind of nice. But these are my two favorite things to do.
Okay, great. Love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. What is the most ridiculous fact you know?
The most ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Ridiculous fact.
Ha. That's a great question, but I'm not even sure that I got that last word. So you're gonna have to spell it out for me. But I know a
F.
lot of ridiculous things that I do. That's for sure.
So, what is the most ridiculous FACTS that you
Ah,
know?
Facts.
facts. Okay. Thank you for helping me out for this. Ah, facts. Yeah. Well, that actually is a very very interesting question. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't accumulate things in my memory that much. I have to say, my memory is not that great. Some people can like quote things and bring facts and numbers and data, right? I'm not that good. My memory is kind of like full of holes. I have a tough time. I have a tough time remembering my own lyrics. So I don't carry around an impressive amount, or certainly not even a little bit of data and facts. So I couldn't tell you for sure anything that pops up. Sorry, I'm gonna have to like I'm gonna have to let somebody else answer that question for you. Um,
Okay, it's
you know,
cool.
I'll try to think. What would people say about me? I don't even like. I couldn't even tell you how many notes are there on the guitar neck. You know, that would be a ridiculous fact.
Me neither.
But I don't know anything like that. Or the number of songs I've written, or
Me
uh,
neither.
you know, but uh, yeah, I'm sorry.
It is absolutely fine. It happens to everyone.
What genre of music do you write?
So I'm in the category of the acoustic pop singer songwriter, and that's basically because my music is guitar driven and
Yeah.
acoustic guitar driven for most of what I write. It depends on some of the recordings. It's electric, and also it depends on what the song calls for in terms of the sounds, because the guitar is definitely very flexible, especially an electric guitar. But I write everything starting with an acoustic guitar, classical guitar that I have handy, lying around wherever I am, except here today, but that's a different story. And it's really where I start my writing. It's kind of like a guitar writing, if you will. I try to write off of lyrics, but that doesn't always come out okay for me. It's I tend to be more generic if I just start with the lyrics and write around that. So what I try to do is come up with some music theme that I think, hey, this is kind of cool, and then build a song from there, and then sort of work the lyrics into it and mesh the two together. And so that puts me in that category of acoustic pop, a little bit of rock, and singer songwriter category.
Hmm. Okay, great.
I not gonna lie, I also play guitar and I also play piano once in a great while.
Good, that's
I
fun.
come up with I come up with the sound first and then the lyrics come out.
Yes, that's great, right? I mean, when music sort of triggers words, I always find it really really cool because it's sort of a you know not logical but emotionally tied together sounds, both the sound of the lyrics, but so also the meaning that comes out of the music. But it's not easy because for myself, I don't know about you, but it's a long process to match the two together in a way that makes sense. I mean, you could write, and some people do that really well. They do more poetic lyrics, and you have less of a sort of a story going. But I prefer some story like, and when it's inspired by the music, it takes a while to put the two together for me. But yeah, it's a great way, I think, to tie the two together.
Cool. Love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, really.
Great. So, what is the who is the funniest person you've met?
That I,
Yep.
yeah, huh, that's an interesting question. Actually, the funniest being that I met, not person, unfortunately, for you. The question is my dog, or he passed on, but in fact, I had three dogs, and they were hilarious. King Charles Cavaliers, so they're little dogs, and named after King Charles, as you may know from English history. And they were just amazing creatures and really funny and loving, and those guys were so entertaining. I hesitate to replace them because it's so difficult when you lose them. But they were a funny bunch, and I loved having them.
Okay. Nice. Do you like spicy food?
Oh yeah, uh, that is the most entertaining food for sure. There's tons of great restaurants in New York City. So Indian food, um, spicy curry foods, Mexican foods, definitely high up on my list, I have to say.
Great. Fabulous. What is your pet peeve?
You know, if I were to say, well, I'm gonna stay out of the music world for that one because there are lots of annoying things about the music business, but it's just the way the business is, and every business has got its annoyances, right? But
Yeah.
I actually prefer a world that is fair and clean as best as possible. I was in the subway yesterday in New York City, and somebody was actually smoking, and not only like littering in the car with ashes and cigarette butts, but just you're not supposed to smoke in the subway. So I think that I think if people, or most people do great, but if some people would be a little bit more abiding by keeping public places clean and respectful of what we all sort of agree should be the rules, that would be nice. Otherwise, if they do whatever they want to do in their own world, I'm good with that. I don't think that there's a problem there. But hey, we share some areas and we share some spaces together. I think it's a good thing to keep it clean and respectful for everyone.
I agree. I agree. So, what kind of music do you often listen to?
Well, there I listen to just about everything I can possibly get to that is given time. But I make a point of, really discovering as much as possible and enjoy as much as possible. There's just fantastic music all around the world. And I would really appreciate, new sounds and new styles or old styles that I haven't had a chance to listen to. And the amount of talented folks who have, you know, left so much for us to listen, and now, folks creating great music is just fabulous. I listen to a lot of classical music. I love Chopin and Bach, and I also listen to, I was enjoying fairly recently throat singers from the Tibet, and there's a skill that I'll never get together, and it's quite interesting, and especially folklore music, specific to of the world, where whatever people had to make an instrument, and create sounds that sort of were inspired by their surrounding, by the animal life around them. And you go back in time, and the combination of dancing and expressing yourself, and making sounds, with whatever you have uh, to create music, and that's just fascinating how different people around the world have, you know the sounds around them. Indian music is quite fascinating. Obviously, they divide the scales into quarter tones, and I do that, but that's usually because I have vocal accidents, and I don't quite reach the note, so I'm right there, a quarter under or something. But the mastery of some of these singers, I mean, is just fabulous. And anything that I can get to, I listen and really enjoy. It's a lot of fun.
Great, yeah. I'd say I have a very versatile taste in music. I mean, I'd like pretty much any kinds of music, from pop to indie, rock, metal, jazz, classical. Yeah, I'd go for any kind of music.
Yeah, if
And
something moves you, right? It's not necessarily a style. It's just it moves you, right? It's just
yeah,
something
it's
in it.
just
Yeah.
it's just whatever rhythm of a song that just
Right.
lets you
Right.
drift and just go with the flow of it.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the way I'd put it. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
sorts of music do you absolutely resent? Like, if you hear it, you just frown and you just, if you had a set of earbuds, you would just put them in and ignore that crap.
Well, actually, the curiosity takes over for me, but I'm not going to last very long with some of it. I don't. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not like, yeah, I can spend the whole day listening to some uh, really like screaming heavy metal, because I'm not in the mood, right? So I'll listen, and I have some really cool recordings, right? I love AC/DC. I think that
Same.
they have great songs, and I think that's really the key. But if I were to be subjected to like an entire day of thrash metal with I'll give up, right? I mean, I'm not going to say,
Uh,
yeah, I love every music. I'm going to be, no, because it's not exactly the mood I'm in, if compared to what I was saying earlier, I don't think I can do crossword puzzles all day. So I can do like, a half an hour to like relax, here and there every, like half an hour a day is fine. Watching TV, yeah, I can binge for hours. But music, when I say I listen to everything, it's not like, again, I can last hours with certain types of music. But my, I'd say, yeah, that kind of, thrash metal, heavy, really, and I'm not going to last very long. But same thing with the Tibetans throat singing. I'll be like, oh, gee, that's interesting. But 20 minutes later, I'll probably move on.
okay. Great. Great. Did you have any role models?
Certainly on the music side, one of them being Eric Clapton, because I started with guitar, and this gentleman is obviously a brilliant, brilliant guitar player, and also certainly picked great songs and wrote great songs. So it's a combination of using the guitar as a soloist, as he does and did, extremely well, but also as a writer and as a musician, and as the songs that he put together on his albums. He's got an album called Ocean Boulevard that is really cool. Great stuff, mixes of acoustic and also electric guitars, and that's just quite brilliant.
Fabulous. Great.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. How much time do you spend on the internet?
On the internet, well, actually, during the pandemic and still now a little bit, quite a lot. It inspired a number of songs from my last album, Ride the Wave, because I was on not being able to do anything outside, right, on lockdown, and not being able to play with other musicians or be in studios. So I spent a lot of time on TikTok, which inspired this song called Miss Mess. That was the first single that we released, and with the video that goes with it. And then I binged watched the entire Vampire Diaries series. It's a TV show, and wrote a song about the lead actress Nina Dobrev, and that song is called Tequila Kiss. So I have to say, the internet has been not just for connecting as we are today, but also obviously with other interviews and with radio stations. We are on the 96 radio stations right now in the U.S., and all of these connections were made through the internet. And I spent a lot of time on Instagram. I was telling you about Nina Dobrev. She's quite an interesting artist, and she travels the world, and she does these incredible things from my standpoint, right? She goes swimming with sharks. She jumps off airplanes. And when you think about me doing crossword puzzles and watching murder mysteries, uh, we're quite opposite. So it did inspire some music and lyrics because of that, and all because I spend my time, you know, on my smartphone or on my computer, watching postings on Instagram and TikTok and all of these other Facebook, of course. Um, so yeah, quite a lot, I say.
Great. Fabulous.
What inspires you to do what you do?
What inspired me to? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
Sorry about that. What inspires you to do what you do?
Well, I don't know if I was. Some people would say I was inspired to write music and perform it, and some people would say, "Hey, you've got a terrible addiction." But I don't know. It's just the way I reacted to music. Again, it wasn't like I was following the footsteps of anybody in my family, or and that I'm not even from an area. I'm from the Alps, near Switzerland, where it's not exactly a center of music, right? It's not like Nashville or LA or even New York City, or other countries have great centers for music, especially England, of course. So it was just, I don't know, a fluke.
Great. Fabulous. So, who is your favorite celebrity couple?
Oh, celebrity couple. Well, I for a while, but it was kind of way back, got to be uh, watching Brad Pitt and Angelina, but apparently, yeah, they broke up. But now I just read that he's suing her for whatever reason. So
Oh
I
man.
other than that, I'm not exactly on the up and up. I don't follow the Kardashians at all. I think that Kanye is having trouble with his marriage, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not exactly on the up and up with that. I pushed down the that kind of news, if you will, to stay abreast of what was happening with COVID for the past 3 years or so, and I haven't gotten back to hey, who's out there being enjoying the limelight as a perfect couple.
Okay, I respect that. Are you a cat person or a dog person?
I'm definitely a dog person, as I was mentioning. I haven't had
Of
three of them at
course.
once, but I love cats. They're less. I mean, I've had cats when I was younger. My family had cats, dogs, all sorts of pets walking around, but uh, they're very different in their personalities. And cats are like really cool, and they come and hang out with you whenever they want. Dogs are more needy in the sense that you got to take them out for a walk, and they're a little bit more verbal, if I may say so, when it's time to take them out or certainly feed them. So I've interacted with dogs more so than I have with cats, but they're both great, great pets to have.
Yes, I absolutely agree. If you wish, what would it be?
You mean besides world peace?
Yes,
Yeah,
anything but that, because
world
we all
peace
we
would
all
be
want that.
great. That would be like, hey, let's start right there. And yeah, I wish we could free ourselves from this COVID business. But certainly, I'd like to think that we can wrap ourselves around these huge problems that global warming is bringing about. It's I remember when there was snow and ice and in the mountains where I'm from, and there's much less of that. It's 40 years is a very, very short time as far as the planet is concerned, having been around for 4 billion years. So but I hope that we can do a better job respecting the nature around us and being way more careful as to how we live so that, the planet is not impacted too much by our behavior.
Yeah, I agree. Have you ever had a paranormal experience?
No, not that I know. I wish, I actually dabble with um, just relaxation and self hypnosis, but I have not gotten to a place, or certainly places described by others, in terms of being able to connect in some ways with some other levels, right? I'd really like to simply be able to, control myself better and relax and do certain things that are said can be possible with relaxation and hypnosis and self hypnosis. But no, I have not. But I'm curious. I'd love to be able to, uh, reach out in these areas.
Okay, cool. What what do you disagree with most frequently?
I That's an interesting question because I disagree with people who just flatly disagree.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I'd like to think that we can keep an open mind. I mean,
Yeah.
up to the point where people start being violent, because of their ideology,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
okay. Meaning if people believe what they believe, that's okay. People should
Yeah.
be free to believe whatever,
Of
right?
course.
But when it turns into violence, when it turns into aggression, when it turns into expressing themselves with disregard for life, I'd say that is not acceptable. You know, there's nothing that prevents any of us from imagining theories and being, creative with our thoughts, and that's okay. But when it interacts with the physical world in a dangerous way for others, then yeah, I'll that's it for me. Don't cross that line. Life is hard enough as it is. You don't need more you making it difficult or certainly making it more dangerous because of beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. So, was being a musician always been your dream job, or have you thought about doing something else when you were younger?
Actually, no. I mean, I can't really remember having sort of a dream other than the music, but the music is a dream. It's always a dream. It's like, yeah, things happen, and you can carve a little bit of a space for yourself amidst the tons of great music that's out there, and these wonderful artists. But no, I never had an other passion at that level. I mean, I've had jobs here and there that are not music jobs. I've worked in offices. I've done manual work, and it's cool. It's a lot of fun, and interacting with people is great. And so I don't. It's not like I can't do anything else or wouldn't do anything else. But as far as that kind of dedication and passion that music requires, no, there's nothing else. Though if there was a way, but right now I don't see a path for it. But if there was a way, I would really like to be more into space-related activities. I don't know that I'd be an astronaut and fly a rocket or something. But anything related to space and space discovery is quite fascinating. But I don't, it seems to me that I would have to spend way, way more time and energy uh, to to find an occupation in that field that I have right now.
Okay, great. And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having you here, Jay, about your music, lots of other questions. It was great, fabulous.
Thank you for having me. It was just great. Thanks for the questions and making me feel really relaxed and comfortable. It was just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd say the same. And until next time, stay tuned for more.